For over 30 years, C-SPAN has been a direct link to public affairs, politics, history, and nonfiction books, all gavel to gavel and all without commentary or commercials. Now C-SPAN is available in over 100 million homes across the nation, bringing you Washington your way. C-SPAN is provided as a public service by America's cable television companies.
Live from C-SPAN in Washington, D.C., tonight's host, Matt Shimada, with presidential candidate Bentley '09. He comes on the show tonight to discuss his presidential campaign.
Hello, everybody. I am Matt. I am tonight's host of this interview. How are you today, Mr. Vice President?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine. Just a heads up for the audience, me and the Vice President are currently suffering from a cold, so if there's any coughing, anything like that, just a heads up. Are you ready to begin, sir?
Absolutely.
Alrighty, let's begin. Mr. Vice President, what are you most excited about if you do become elected?
I would say the most thing that I'm excited about would be making an impact on the community. Benjamin and I have formulated a platform that we think will definitely bring a lot of beneficial things. But on a more lighthearted note, I would probably say one of the other exciting things would be maybe decorating the Oval Office.
What would you decorate the Oval Office with, if you don't mind me asking?
It would probably be a little similar to how I decorated my current office, although I might change up a couple things. The Oval Office has curtains. Mine currently does not. So I would definitely have to figure out something regarding that.
Perfect. Alrighty. What would you say will be your main focus during your tenure?
During my tenure, my main focus would change ultimately throughout the course of the term. I just want to focus on each goal one step at a time. But right out the gate, I would probably have to say my first goal to achieve would be reforming Secret Service, because we've all seen that definitely needs some dire help and attention.
All right. What is the first thing that you are going to do if you do win this election?
The first thing I would do upon winning the election, there's a little bit of a transition period. I know whenever Bass and I was originally elected, we didn't really get much of a transition period. Thankfully, the election is set up this month to allow such a transition period to occur. So I will definitely utilize that time before taking the oath of office to really get together with a couple people, seek their counsel regarding things, formulate a plan so we can hit the ground running.
All right. In your campaign Discord, there were a lot of votes in the changing in Department of Homeland Security due to a large number of resignations. How will you ensure that it remains active and operates accordingly?
Well, that really boils down to leadership. I know there's going to be a lot of leadership changes, especially within the department. I have somebody that I have in mind for Secretary of Homeland Security. I've been discussing with him, trying to formulate some plans, seeing his input and everything. I don't really like to jump into things without having a plan. I don't really like to make big decisions without seeking other people's counsels. So discuss some things, and I know in the coming week here, we'll definitely be sitting down and going over some plans in more detail.
Right, sounds like a plan. Will you miss the Senate as president of the Senate currently?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Will you miss the Senate as serving as vice president?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I will definitely miss the Senate and honestly the legislature overall. It's really the only thing I've done in my 3-year tenure in this community. But it's definitely given me a lot of opportunity and definitely has prepared me for the position I'm currently seeking in regards to leadership. Acting as in the capacity of a presiding officer has definitely been rewarding and challenging at times, but I believe it's definitely prepared me.
Adding on to that question, do you believe that Benjamin will follow in your footsteps and make the Senate better?
I certainly hope so. Benjamin is definitely an intelligent individual. I have great respect for him. We've worked closely, for months, and just even over the past year here, on a couple different legislations and legislative pieces. So I definitely have full confidence in him to be able to run the Senate well.
All right. We've received a few concerns from veterans, and they are questioning what your plans were for the military. What do you have to say about that?
Well, firstly, I would ask them to reach out to me regarding some of their concerns. I know there have been some concerns regarding White House Military Office, especially with the uniforms that they currently possess. And I do definitely want to look into some of those concerns going into my administration. Regarding the military overall, though, I definitely want to implement some better training scenarios that will leave our armed forces better equipped and prepared for conflicts should they occur. I've been talking with the Secretary of Defense, along with a couple other people, about formulating these scenarios, and hopefully we'll be able to hit the ground running with that.
Perfect. It says in your campaign Discord, and there have been a few other rumors circulating on the community, that you will open an ice cream brand. Is there already an exact location where the shop might be? Or is this just a silly rumor?
That's mere speculation right now. I haven't spoken to the development team at all about that. Should the public be interested in such venture, then I would definitely consider looking into that. But currently, that's just a rumor.
All right. I would love to get some ice cream.
Absolutely. So would I. Maybe an ancient blueberry flavor.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What do you hope to
Sounds
accomplish
tasty.
within office of president?
Well, a lot of the things I hope to accomplish is primarily laid out in the platform. Obviously, I couldn't go into like a whole lot of detail with things, but I gave a basic summary of what we plan to accomplish in regards to foreign policy, the military, reforming a couple departments such as Secret Service. But overall, I'm hoping to work with a lot of great people and really, get the ball rolling and hopefully progress this community further. I know under this administration, Vass has done a lot to reverse a lot of the bad policies and the schisms of the previous administration, and I hope to continue that momentum moving forward.
Alrighty. Moving on to a more personal question. What made you want to run for president?
Honestly, I mean, I've always admired the position, and being in the capacity of vice president right now, I really honestly think that it was probably the right time for me to run. And I know that sometimes during the course of our community's existence, sometimes we've had little dry spouts of lack of leadership. And honestly, it felt right. It felt like it was the right time to step up and to be that leader.
Perfect. This is a question that we have asked all the interviewees so far. If you could describe your campaign in 3 words, what would they be?
3 words. Well, let me think here. I guess the first word would be encouraging. Secondly, would be hopeful. And thirdly, I'd probably have to say American.
Alrighty.
All American.
Okay. moving on to questions relating to campaigns itself. How do you feel about your campaign as a whole? Do you think your staff, everything's working fluently? Your plans for office of the president? What are you thinking?
Yeah. I'm fairly confident in the staff that we have. Been very impressed with a lot of the work, and dedication that we've all put into the platform and the campaign overall. I would definitely say, moving forward, as we get closer to election night, that we have a pretty solid foundation that we've laid, and here's to hoping for the best.
Alrighty, moving on to your opponents. How do you feel about July and Larone's campaign?
I like them both, although I feel some of their platform and honestly, I think their overall perspective of the community isn't exactly. I don't want to use the word correct, but I feel like if they had more experience within the community, then they would really understand some of the core issues that's going on, and would be able to effectively lead better. But I think their platform is a little vague on some of the things they plan to do. But overall, I have great respect, for both candidates.
All right. I will now be moving on to questions from the audience. If anybody has a question, please ping me. I will start with 603 Raider. Mr. Vice President, will you have a pet in the Oval Office if you win?
Nothing's official yet, but it definitely has crossed my mind. I'm currently still thinking about it. But if I do, it will definitely be a surprise.
All right, sounds good. I will now wait for more questions. If you could please ping me a general chat. This is a question from me, actually.
Okay.
We've currently had a spike in crime, so to say, in DC. What can you do to combat that if you were to win the election?
Well, you definitely want to, act in the capacity of, enforcing the law and, upholding justice. But crime is also a very vital part of our community. It provides law enforcement things to do. So I wouldn't want to necessarily suppress it completely. But I definitely will be working with law enforcement to make sure that it's at least contained to in a reasonable amount.
Alrighty. And this is okay. Let's see. This is a question once again from 603 Raider. Will there be more actions towards the military as it is currently not as active as it once was?
As I said previously, I have been discussing things with the Secretary of Defense, and we definitely will be implementing a lot of these policies that I outlined in the platform, and hopefully that will increase activity as well as preparedness. But it's really a roll of the dice. So hopefully, we'll be able to get things more active and running more efficiently.
All right. Last question will be from your opponent, July.
Okay.
Quote unquote. I was wondering why you put a Star Wars reference in your campaign. Can you elaborate on that? You're saying that it's unprofessional.
So firstly, I would just like to say in order to ensure the security and continuing stability, the Republic will be reorganized into the first galactic empire to ensure a secure and stable society. But truthfully, Benjamin and I when we were going over our platform, our campaign post, I stuck that little Easter egg in just to see if he would notice it. And we decided to keep it in as kind of a running joke and to see how long it would take for people to actually notice it. So we've been posting that since day one, and it only seems till recently people have finally caught on. So I wouldn't really say the force is strong with many people.
Alrighty. Oh, what happened to my Discord? That's not good. Okay, well, that concludes this interview, Mr. Vice President. Thank you for agreeing to do this with us today.
Of course, thank you for having me.
By C-SPAN Chairman and C-SPAN staff. Have a great night, ladies and gentlemen.
Good night.
For over 30 years, C-SPAN has been a direct link to public affairs, politics, history, and nonfiction books, all gavel to gavel and all without commentary or commercials. Now C-SPAN is available in over 100 million homes across the nation, bringing you Washington your way. C-SPAN is provided as a public service by America's cable television companies.